Let's get right to the site. Welcome in Ice Young, who was on the call for Fever and Sky on CBS. And Ice, the Fever crush the Sky once again, beat them by 35 in the season opener, 27 on this night. What is it about the Fever when they play the Sky?
Yeah, it's that rivalry. I mean, they just give it everything they have. I was really impressed with the offensive output for the Fever, the way that they knock down threes on the outside, the high percentage looks in the inside, 4 players in double figures. And when one of those is a hardship contract player, you're doing terrific things. Erica McDonald has been a great spark for the Fever.
Yeah, talk about what she's been able to provide, because when you're able to come onto a team and fill in for 2 really important players in Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, what does that mean to the Fever when they're just trying to get back to 500 here?
Yeah, Hakeem, it's her motor. It's her motor and it's her adaptability. I mean, she's a pest defensively. She likes to play with pace, which is the identity of the Fever. And then she's unselfish. She's looking to get downhill. She's looking to facilitate, but she can also knock down shots on the outside, which also fits the identity of the Fever. I said it during the broadcast, but they could not have gotten a better hardship contract player to fit their system. And Erica McDonald has been willingly playing the right type of basketball, the way the Fever want to play. But to me, it's her motor. It's the fact that she's playing in survival mode on a hardship contract, and then she's been able to score the basketball. 7 points in her first game, 12 points in this game. It's been a really good pickup for them.
Ice, what does it say about the Fever to get back-to-back wins without Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, the resiliency. I'm not surprised really at all, because in the offseason, they picked up some vets who know how to work through adversity. The Dewana Bonners, Natasha Howard, Sydney Colsons. And so I thought that those players did a good job today of picking their spots when to be aggressive. But this team as a whole came in today and dominated on both sides of the basketball. We talk a lot about their offense and their knocking down threes, but also their defense was exceptional. The defensive rotations were on point. And all of this happening, Hakeem, also without their head coach and Stephanie White being here today. So they're facing adversity on multiple fronts, but rise to the occasion.
Indiana has outscored the Sky by 62 points this season. Ice Young on the call on CBS. Ice, appreciate you breaking it down for us and joining us post-game here on CBS Sports HQ.
Thanks, Hakeem.
Always good to talk with Ice Young here on CBS Sports HQ. And another big win for the Fever. Another 25-point win. Again, it was by 35 in the season opener, 27 in this one. The Fever joined the 2006 Shock as the only teams to win back-to-back 20-point wins against the Sky in a season. All right, let's continue the conversation here with CBS Sports HQ NBA analyst Erica Ayala. And Erica, we started off this segment showing Erica McDonald, who was signed on an emergency hardship. What does that mean to be able to have her production when you're down your top 2 players?
Obviously, it's huge. This is an Indiana team that, even with Caitlin Clark, was having a little bit of difficulty getting scoring and really getting key games from some of its players. We heard so much from our great CBS crew about how there's a little bit more movement, players moving without the ball. And Erica McDonald, as we heard Ice say, just such a great motor, has such great instincts, and is able to drive downhill, and is a little bit of a spark for this Indiana Fever squad right now.
You know, I want to ask you about Caitlin Clark and what she's going to mean to this team when she comes back. And we know it's immense. But the fact that they've won 2 in a row without her in the lineup, they lost 2 of the previous 3, but they're able to go back to back here in wins. What does that say about the resiliency of Indiana?
Well, that's just it. We know what Caitlin Clark can be and will be for this league and for the Indiana Fever. We saw glimpses of that last season, and that's why, at least in conversation, I do think Napheesa Collier will have something to say about MVP, but still in the conversation for someone who can get an MVP award in years to come. However, especially because of the position that she plays, the one guard is critically important in the WNBA, not necessarily to be a knock it down shooter like out all the time, but to facilitate. And so that the fact that the Fever now are getting comfortable moving, as I've said before, and we'll have Caitlin Clark, I got so excited to knock my mic around. We'll have Caitlin Clark who can see now, can see what's happening on the court, can see how her team is moving and how they're receiving the ball and meeting success. Now she can take that. She has such a high IQ and utilize that. So I only think this is going to fuel this Fever team, who does have championship aspirations aspirations. They were always going to need more than Caitlin Clark, and now they're starting to accelerate the process of playing like a team that's been together for more than really just a couple of months now.
Indiana has now won 5 of the last 6 meetings against the Sky. Caitlin Clark will be reevaluated this weekend, could return early next week. Unfortunately for Chicago, their all-time leading scorer, Courtney Vandersloot, helped off the court after suffering a non-contact knee injury in the first quarter. It did not look good. Erica, what did you see there, and what would that mean if she's out for an extended period of time?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that Courtney Vandersloot went down. You never want to see a player go down, non-contact, get helped off the court. We don't know what is going on there exactly. And you watch enough sports, you know that usually that means it's a bit more of a significant injury as opposed to something that she'll be able to bounce back from. You mentioned she is a franchise leading scorer, comes back to Chicago, and we talked about it pregame. Such an important veteran presence, is able to make sure the ball isn't sticking on the offensive side for Chicago. They have a lot of young guards, and we did see them deployed in different ways tonight. However, being without Courtney Vandersloot, that's definitely an adjustment, and it goes without saying, but we will say that, of course, we wish the best for Courtney Vandersloot, a speedy recovery, whatever the injury may be. But this will be a challenge that Chicago is going to have to figure out.
Yeah, another tough game for the Chicago Sky, who was looking to take advantage without Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham on the floor, and unfortunately they lose another big one to the Indiana Fever. And not to be lost here, Erica, the fact that this game was at the United Center and it was sold out. And we continue to see just people and fans coming out to support the WNBA. And we know a lot of that is driven by the stars. But even without Caitlin Clark on the floor, there's people showing up. How cool was that? Just the vibes to see inside the United Center.
Well, I think what we're seeing is what OG fans, you know, folks that have been there since '97, and the fans that have been welcomed into the game because of the Angel Reeses, the Kiki Iriafens, and of course the Caitlin Clarks. There's a convergence that's happening now. This isn't surprising. It's just that now kind of both parties are meeting in the middle. We're having a moment where there are teams that are able to engage a long-term fan base, and teams and players that are also integrating new fans. And I think it's fantastic. This is what we're seeing across women's sports when you have different networks, of course, like us, that continue to invest and continue to do the storytelling. We're going to continue to see this. So I don't think that we are going to see this be the outlier. I think this is the new normal.
Indiana Fever with another big win over the Chicago Sky. No Caitlin Clark, no problem. Again, she'll be reevaluated this weekend. Could return early next week. Erica Ayala joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. Erica, always good to be with you. Appreciate your perspective here on HQ.
Thank you.
And you take a look at the upcoming schedule. The Fever get back to 500. Going to play at the Dream on Tuesday. Potential return for Caitlin Clark. Been nursing that quad injury. And Indiana with back-to-back wins without her here. Beat Washington and now Chicago here on Saturday night.